Good morning, everybody. It's Positive Tuesday today, November 2nd, 2021. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by ICAA. ICAA is your local social service organization that works together with individuals, families, and the community to create and support local solutions for local needs. For a full list of services, find them on their Facebook page or just check them out on their website at IndianHeadCAA.org. Special thank you to our guest last week, Spooner Health CEO Mike Schaefer, who was our guest on our Positive Tuesday show a week ago. However, on the show, he did say that he sympathized with Jerusha for having to be married to me, so he's no longer welcome on the show. Yeah. Okay. And last Thursday, I welcomed former Representative Adam Jarkow back on for a chat. He had just announced that he had filed the necessary paperwork to run for Wisconsin Attorney General. That was a great conversation. You can watch those and all of our shows on our website at DrydenWire.com, on our Facebook page under our videos tab, or just go to YouTube and search DrydenWire. But today is Positive Tuesday. Fitzy, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's cold, which I love, because cold means no bats in the house.
You don't like bats, huh?
No, we got another. No, well, I do like bats outside,
Okay.
but when they come inside, no. So I forgot to tell you, a couple weeks ago there was one in the garage, so we got that one, and then we sealed up where we thought it was coming in, and then it was Saturday night, I think, Drush and I. So we close up the garage doors and everything as soon as it gets dark, because we think they get into the garage and then somehow they get into the house that way. So we left for, it's like 8:30, we left for 15 minutes. We had to run an errand. So the garage doors open, we come back and we heard this bat up in the wrap somewhere, I don't know, and it was squeaking. So I don't know if it was stuck or what. So we didn't go out to the garage for 2 days, because anytime we went out, we could hear it squeaking. And now it's just, I don't know, it stopped squeaking, so I think it's dead somewhere. So that was my weekend. How about you?
Wow. Yeah, mine wasn't that exciting. No. It was Halloween, obviously, and we were pretty busy. We were pretty steady all weekend as far as crime. So Rice Lake football team won again, and Rice Lake soccer beat Spooner soccer. So sorry, Schaefer. I think we bet $100. I think that's what was the bet. So,
Did you really?
No, we didn't.
Oh, okay.
We should. He should have to donate to a nonprofit now. My choice.
Yeah, he should. Yeah, he should. I thought about him actually. Man, we're giving him way too much love here. I thought about him on Saturday because last week's show he said he was going down to watch the Badgers game, taking his daughter, and that was a great game. And by the way, I didn't know this, so I looked at the stats this morning for college football. They have the number one ranked defense in terms of yards allowed, even over Georgia, which is just having a historic year in terms of their defense. It's nuts how good the Badgers defense is. They're number one in the fewest yards allowed, the fewest rushing yards allowed. Now, they have no offense, but that's okay. So I thought of him this weekend.
Yeah, well, but it was a really good Spooner Rice Lake game. Then Rice Lake actually won on Saturday in soccer, so they're on their way to state. Rice Lake football won. We're actually playing at home because the 4 seed beat the 1 seed, so we don't have to travel. So Rice Lake football is 2 games away from state. So
wow.
Good luck to all of those. And there's a lot of great things happening in the sports world, and that's what brings people together.
It does.
All that negativity in the world is we'll talk about the Meth Town Hall a little bit later, but we talked a lot about the hate in the world has got to stop, and that's why I love doing these shows, and we have a lot of good fun. But sports brings people together. There's no question about it.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think I've even made a parallel one time or an analogy, which probably wasn't good because analogies, but. I said that it's like a Packers and Vikings, which is like a Democrat-Republican. But the interesting thing about sports is you don't genuinely hate the other person for liking the Vikings. Right. And that's the neat thing about sports. I don't know. I 100% agree with you. What's that?
You wouldn't have any friends, right?
Well, right. Yeah, like I don't like the Packers, but it's not, I don't hate people because they like the Packers. So why would I hate somebody if you voted for Trump or for Biden? Right. What? That's fine. That's your guy. Okay, that's your team.
That makes sense. Then we would Politics wouldn't be fun if it made sense.
Well, that's true. So we're going to be doing a giveaway today. So I did talk to. So I've just given up on my brother when it comes to these shirts. So I called Barb. Remember, she's the one that she made the our hats, and send us some swag to you and myself, and I think even to my father. So I called her and I said, "Yeah, I'm giving up my brother. Do whatever it is that you have to do." So she's in the process of creating a logo and design with the Positive Tuesday Ben and Fitzy and the Little Things Make a Big Difference. But we're basically starting over. So we're just going to put a pin in that. I'm going to wait until Barb gets all that done. We got to order a bunch of shirts. I don't know where they're going to be because, there could be in a cargo container, so maybe a while. So we're just going to go back to the $25 gift card for Amazon for anyone that today, I think we put it on, I didn't write it down, but it's on our page. What is, right? So just comment with something positive that's going on in your life. Say something positive about this show. Or if you have a question, but the point is just make sure you comment on something. The more comments, probably the better odds that you have, I would assume, because at the end you're going to get your little app, right, Fitzy, that does the just randomizer. We'll kind of count them up, and we'll just pick a winner. So that's what we're going to do today. But I have a trivia question for you.
I don't have one, so that's
you
good.
Don't?
I forgot. I didn't think about it. We got talking about something else, and I didn't do trivia.
Okay.
I was actually the question. My trivia answer will be what's going on in Almena, because I'll fill people in because they've seen a lot of squad cars racing around Barron County.
I did have a couple messages right before we went on and said, "Hey, is Fitzy going to be on the show this morning?" I'm like, as far as I know, like, well, there's a shooting down in Almena or something. Like, didn't know anything about it. So, yeah. Okay. So here is my question, and I put it up this morning on our website. I'm sorry, I just want to put these up. That was very nice of Sharon to say that, and thank you for all your comments so far. But I put up this morning from Wisconsin DOT. The headline was "Steer It, Clear It. Law keeps drivers, first responders safe after a crash." So my trivia question is, in 2020, there were 115,694 crashes in Wisconsin. Of those, how many were secondary crashes happening after the initial incident? So which of these four is the closest to the answer? A, 100, B, 300, C, 500, or D, 700? These are secondary crashes. So after the crash happens, law enforcement or first responders, but then there's another crash because of that incident. Usually, people not paying attention or doing something dumb, but
taking pictures of the scene or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you think?
What's the total number of crashes?
So there were, we'll round it up, 116,000 crashes in Wisconsin in 2020. Of those, how many were secondary crashes? So there were obviously secondary crashes. I believe that number was incorporated into that one, but is it 100, 300, 500, or 700? You want me to remove one?
Yeah, I want you to remove one.
Okay, we'll remove. I'll try to make it easier for you. I'll remove C, 500. So 100, 300, or 700?
Well, I've seen how people drive, so I'm going to go with 700 because there's just too many people that aren't paying attention when they're at scenes. In fact, I'll have an example after we get the answer.
You are correct. It is 700. Actually, it is 703. So this information is on our website at DrydenWire.com this morning, and it says in this release that secondary crashes put those involved and the responders who show up to help in danger. Last year, 69 workers were hurt and 2 were killed while responding to an emergency in Wisconsin. So, pay attention to that stuff.
Well, and slow down. I mean, we were out on Halloween. We got called to an incident on Halloween. I was out, and during that call where we had everybody tied up, a lady hit a deer on Highway 53, and it literally disabled her vehicle in the lane of traffic. It's dark. It's on 53. She has her flashers on, but that's it. But she is stopped in the middle of Highway 53 in the lane of traffic. So we jump in our squad, and we go there, and she's stuck in the middle of traffic. I got my red and blue lights on. There's a tow truck there, and people aren't even slowing down on Highway 53. It's crazy how many people don't slow down, and they were moved over, but they were not even. Some of them didn't even tap their brakes, and it was very frustrating, very dangerous, especially at night. We have a tow truck driver out there trying to load this car. We have a lady trying to get her kids out of her car, put them in another car. I mean, I had my car blocking as much as I could, but it was very frustrating on the number of people that don't slow down and move over, and that's we've got to do that. It's against the law. You can get a ticket. It's just we didn't have enough cops to chase the people down because we were all working on something, and that. But so you have to slow down to at least 45 miles an hour and move over as far as you can, and you should go down way slower than that.
If I recall, so I clicked on a couple of links. So in this article, there's two links. One is like this brochure thing, and the other one was, I think it was about the law. Well, I don't have to go and try to find it, but I looked at it this morning, and I thought I had read, so it wasn't in the article, but if you clicked on the one of the, like, find the more information here kind of a thing. Hold on, I'm going to find it, because I thought it was $249 if I'm remembering right, if you don't do this. And that part is, I mean, okay, whatever. I'll pay $250 if I did something dumb. That's not that big a deal. I mean, it is, because that means I did something I shouldn't be doing and putting people at risk. But in terms of the, okay. But I think it was 3 points off your license. Now, that is a big deal, because it takes a while for that stuff to come off your license, doesn't it, those points?
Yeah.
Or to get those back?
Right. It takes a year with no violations, and then you get some back, and then it takes another. Yeah, you get some back every year if you don't have another violation. And those under the new people that get their driver's license, those points can double if you're under probationary driver's license, things like that. So it's really important for our 16 to 18-year-olds to realize that, you can lose your license really quick if you do something dumb, by having only 12 points on your driver's license. So
yeah, and it does.
And pay a lot more attention out there. We need to have a lot more people. There's a lot of deer hits right now. They kind of picked up over the weekend. We're going to see that go up, over the next, couple weeks with all the deer hunting and all the deer rut and all that other stuff that goes on. So we're going to see a lot of that. So you just got to pay attention.
Yeah, it says right here in the link, motorists caught violating the move over law will be assessed 3 demerit points on their license and receive a $249 fine. In addition, if a motorist fails to obey the move over law and is involved in a crash, their driver's license will be suspended, and they may face up to 7 years in prison if someone is hurt or killed. I didn't know that one. I guess I didn't read that far down this morning, but yeah. Yeah, so
and accidents happen. I mean, we understand that, but you've just got to pay attention. It's that important to do out there. I was very frustrated while I was directing traffic on Saturday night. I don't get out there a lot and see that. But our, Highway 53, you've just got to slow down. I know everybody's in a hurry to get somewhere, but that 30 seconds, you have to go slow down to 30, 40 miles an hour, whatever it is. Yeah. It isn't going to hurt you. You'll be fine.
Yeah. So there was some another situation that happened over the weekend.
Let's give the update in Elmina, since I don't have a trivia thing. Okay. There's an incident in Elmina. You saw some of our squad cars. You already got a tip, so your viewers are pretty accurate. There's an incident involving a weapon in Elmina, I believe, and there's no threat to the public. Chief Gabby's got it under control. The ambulance is there. Everything's fine. And if needs to be an update, he'll have to send one out. Our people were there. They're not there. They just pulled back into the office here. So everybody's good there. And I don't know the whole incident, and that's all I'll comment on. But there's no threat to the public. Everybody's good. I'm here. I don't need to be there, and there wasn't a major incident, so we're good.
Yeah, because when a few people had messaged this morning before the show saying I had heard about it, said, no, I'm literally getting ready for a show. And they're like, well, I'm surprised that Fitzy's going to be on. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So until he tells me we're not doing it, I just assume that we are.
We could have done it live from the scene, no?
Yeah, no, probably not. But so regarding any press releases or articles that we have published for Barron specifically, there were 2 that I wanted to touch on. One, our headline was 2-vehicle crash near Barron Polk Line results in death of a 31-year-old from Rice Lake. You had said last week on the show that you were going to be going out on Saturday night, and working. I mean, you're working, but I mean like out patrolling and doing all that stuff. Yeah, right. Actual police work, right?
Yeah,
But not administrative stuff. You're out there, helping out. And then I was starting to receive Wisconsin DOT emails about a crash, and they were giving all these updates, and it's going to be at least 2 hours, and it was going on for quite a while, and I didn't want to text or message you because, like when Dad was a sheriff, you don't bother them when they're busy. So I'm like, well, I'll just wait. So I think I messaged you the next day, and you said, well, there was a situation, and I'll press release on Monday. We'll talk about it Tuesday. So you put out that press release. We published it. What can you tell us about that?
Sure. Well, Saturday started off. It was a beautiful Saturday, by the way. I mean, it was just awesome out there. We were at Main Street trick-or-treating in Rice Lake. Prior to that, some of our people were down in Chautauqua and in Cumberland at their Main Street trick-or-treating. We had taken the SWAT vehicle out, let kids see it, play on it, take a picture with it. It's really cool to see these little kids dressed up as cops, and then they take a picture next to our real SWAT truck. It was
had I known that, I would have done that. I would have come down and gotten pictures next to it. That'd have been fun.
We were on Main Street trick-or-treating, giving out candy, and there was thousands of kids. It was really cool. It was a really well put together event by a lot of local businesses and our Main Street Association, our chamber. It was really just neat. There was a lot of people out there. It was really cool. So we were there giving out candy. Our patrol wasn't busy in the afternoon, so they came and they were helping give out candy. You saw some pictures on our Facebook. And then a crash happens, a report of a head-on crash on Highway 48. If you leave Cumberland, go towards Luck, just before the county line. It's actually a half a mile from the county line. A head-on crash happens. So 2 of our deputies went. 1 of the deputies stayed. Then it seemed to be getting worse in there. They wanted a fire truck, and there was a car on fire, and there were some other things going on. So then my sergeant left, and I said, if you need me, call me. Well, he wasn't even gone 5 minutes when they called for the medical examiner. One of the first responders had got there and said there was 1 person deceased. So I packed up the stuff, went and got a different vehicle. And so we had to leave trick-or-treating early. It was a head-on collision where a 31-year-old subject died. It appears he crossed the center line, struck a truck, which actually then started on fire. Some passerbyers, including a family member of this 19-year-old's kid, and another passerby literally pulled this guy out of his truck while it was on fire, or just before it started on fire, one of the two. So we're going to look at some, life-saving awards for some of these people. And I know they don't want it, but I think it's that important to do. So it was a very serious incident. I can't say enough about the Cumberland Fire Department. They were out there for hours with us. Our tow truck drivers, our reconstruction team from the State Patrol came up. We reconstructed the crash, and so Highway 48 was closed from probably about 4 p.m. to about 10 p.m. So it was about, quite a while. We had it closed, and while we reconstructed it, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of both parties. That's just got to pay attention when you're driving. You got to, whatever the incident is. We don't know the cause of the crash yet, so I don't want to comment on that.
Sure.
But I just want to thank the passerbyers and the family members that stopped to help, and people that stopped to ask us if we needed anything, et cetera, et cetera. So a tragic event, but that's where law enforcement, that's the message I want to get out. Here we are giving out candy and making kids smile, and bam, we're right to a traffic fatality, and I'm delivering a death notification. That's the world of law enforcement. That's why when you do thank us, I mean, it really means a lot to us when people say thank you for coming, thank you for doing this. Not that we're looking for it. It's just our lives can change in a second. These families' lives change in a second when we have these crashes.
Yep.
And you hate to drop this news on somebody. Rice Lake PD helped us with the notification, and Cumberland PD was there. I mean, it was just this teamwork again, this flawlessness of this team, and I'm just so impressed by how we all work together every time. It's so easy for me to be the sheriff because we have all these tools. It's just, I'm passionate about my job. I'm passionate about this community, and it makes it so, fun. Those are sucky events, but we were there. The Cumberland firemen they're just top notch. Every one of our volunteer firemen. These are volunteer firemen that literally spent 6 hours out there with us.
Halloween weekend at night.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing takes away from the seriousness of the situation, but that's how many people would even want to we've talked about that. And we could talk about it again some other time. I think what you do in cops and firefighters is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. And nobody, who would ever want to do that? But I'm so thankful that you guys do that because
Mhm.
I can't imagine having that kind of a role and seeing those things. And real quickly, let's also not forget about that 19-year-old
Right.
who it sounds like was just driving down the road, a 19-year-old, and someone comes in, and now that other person had died. Man, I mean, you may not be at fault, and I don't know. I'm assuming not, but I don't want to necessarily assume. But you
Right.
gotta, that has to impact you for the rest of your life,
Hmm.
knowing that you were just a part of that. So hopefully that young man and his family are doing well. I assume it was a man. I think that's what it was in the press release, if I recall,
Hmm.
wasn't it?
Right. It was. Yep.
Yeah. So, but still, that's tough. But hey, we have a question here from Bobby Joe. Question: some first responders have flashers or other lights on their personal cars, but are not necessarily marked. Are you legally responsible to pull over for them?
No, you're not legally responsible. I mean, they're trying to get to the scene as fast as they can. No, you're not legally responsible to do that. A lot of them don't turn them on until they get to the scene, or maybe they're trying to get through some traffic. Um, but you know, because it gets backed up, and I need those first responders to get to the scene, so they might turn them on, and try to get around some people to try to get there to help me out or help our deputies out or whoever. So no, you're only legally responsible fire trucks, police cars, ambulances. But these people are trying to get from their scene to their fire truck or from that scene to a first responder. So um, they have to follow the rules of the road, and you know but I understand they're trying to get to the scene and trying to help me as much as they can.
Yeah.
So but no, you're not legally responsible to do that.
Well, I don't think there's ever been a time where I've been driving and there's lights coming up behind me that I go, I wonder who that is specifically, and do I have to actually kind of pull? I just do. And I think most people do, right? You see a bunch of lights or things come up behind you, it's okay, I'm just going to kind of get out of the way because I don't have lights on my vehicle. There must be a reason that they have the lights on theirs, and if they're going a lot faster than I am, there's a reason they're going somewhere. So I'm just going to pull over, or not pull over, but you know what I mean. Kind of just let them around. I'm going to slow down. I think
Right.
that's just common sense, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but if everybody used common sense, I'd be out of work.
Yeah, and then what would your wife do?
Yeah, then I would
Aye.
work every day.
I do want to talk about another thing that came up, and I put it up yesterday. It was sent to us, and the headline was Barron County Family Drug Treatment Court celebrates first program graduates. And I actually just pulled a little clip out of it. So this is just the very beginning that on October 5th, Barron County Family Drug Treatment Court, or FDTC, celebrated its first program graduates, having 5 people successfully complete the program. All participants had been enrolled in programs since August of 2020 and addressed substance use disorders through intensive outpatient treatment in addition to individual therapy, moral recognition therapy, parent education, and financial coaching. And then this one person, Brianna, she was one of the 5 graduates, reflected on her experience, saying, "For me, FTTC has given me a sense of purpose now with my new opportunity as a recovery coach for new participants entering the program. Also, it has inspired me to start college to get my degree in HHS, to start a career helping other people. I'm getting out probation early, and also my charges were reduced to a misdemeanor because of the success she had with FTTC. So now I have a chance to pursue a career that may have not been possible without this. I was able to get 2 dependable vehicles, and I have been reunited with my children. Yeah, which was my biggest accomplishment. That just gets to me, man.
Uh,
How awesome
it,
is that?
it is the best. I mean, we had a long discussion about that Thursday night at our Meth Town Hall. It wasn't a ton of people there, but the discussion was fabulous. I mean, the discussion we had was great, and that was the highlight of our the the war on drugs, the fight of meth, whatever you want to call it. I don't care what you call it, but we're have some success, and it's nice to see. And in fact, I met with a subject that used to work with us on our meth program, then fell back into meth and went to
Mm.
prison, and now is back out and doing good.
Oh, cool.
And we'll support him. And yeah, he apologized. I'm like, you don't have to apologize. The drug got to you, man. It's just stay off of it, and we're here for you if you need help. And that family drug treatment court, we're one of 11 in the nation that got a grant for that.
I know,
One of
it's
11 in the
crazy.
nation. I mean, I just don't understand it. But
Yeah.
that means we have a problem.
Yeah.
Because if they said, oh, look at that, Barron County, look at that high meth numbers or whatever it was, youth meth numbers. But it's such a great thing to see. It's such we try not to put a number on some of this stuff, but if you look at a kid staying with their parents and their parents, their mom, their dad, whoever it is, getting clean, that's $100,000 a year to the Barron County taxpayers. And again, I don't like putting numbers to it, but I also want to show the success of a program. And if we have to invest a position down the road because the grant ends, we've saved those 5 people millions of dollars have been saved if we would have had to put those kids into a treatment program or a foster care or put them with a different family, whatever the things are. The numbers are staggering when it comes to that. But again, throw all the numbers out the window. What you just read is the meat and potatoes of it. We got to make a difference. We've got to put these kids back with their parents. We got to make sure their parents are clean before we do that. That's what this program does, and I'm just glad to be part of it. A small piece of that.
It was excellent. I love seeing that stuff, and I understand that not everybody is maybe, and I'm not talking specifically about these individuals that graduated, those 5, but I understand that you may have bumps in the road. In a year from now, you may fall back into certain things. I'm not saying that you will, but I understand there's always a percentage of that happening. There's always a chance of that happening. But man, we have to do this. I mean, we just absolutely have to. And you were saying that, I don't like putting numbers on it, but that's kind of part of your job too as an administrator. You have to. Okay, we have to look at some of the numbers because that we may be able to justify if after this grant is over, hiring someone. We have to actually kind of start putting some numbers on it. Nobody really wants to hear it because then it seems weird, but that's how it works. Like we have a budget. We only have so much money, and we have to allocate what are we going to get for this cost versus the reward for these things. And $100,000, that's legit. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's per kid per year. If a kid was out for a full year, 365 days away from his parents, and that's a round number. And again, I don't like putting that on it, but again, we have to. But we need to talk about it now because when we need it, people are like, "Oh, now you're talking about it." I'm like, that's why I want to talk about it a little bit when things are going good, because if they ever go bad, we can say, "Listen, we've been talking about this for a while. We just didn't make this number up because we need this position now," or whatever it is. So, But let me ask you a question because a question came up at our town hall, and maybe people want to chime in. It's about giving people breaks. Like this lady you just read got a break. She got from a felony to a misdemeanor. And, that's good for her. But a lot of people, we had some discussion about, I bust you for selling meth. And you say, well, I don't want to go to jail. I'll give you my source if you don't let me go to jail. If you don't put me in jail, I'll give you my source, kind of get the bigger fish.
Sure.
Some people don't like that theory. If you're selling meth, I should just arrest you and help you with the problem, not give you a break. And so we had some good discussion about that, and there's goods and bads to that. And, we evaluate that every time when we have a person that wants to work off their charges. So I don't know, what's your thoughts on that, to try to get to the bigger fish, or is it just better to take, you down and go with it?
Well, every scenario I'm sure is unique. Obviously, it depends on how much that was. But if I had to give just a one universal answer, the people who are saying that just take every single person and don't worry about anything else are just dumb. They're wrong. They just are. You can have your opinion, but it's wrong. Right? I mean, seriously, that's just kind of how it's supposed to work. Now, first, so we had 2 different things there. One was about maybe giving them some help. And the second would be about giving, bigger fish. Well, that's kind of how it works, because the person who buys the meth, because you're not making it, right? You had said that 0% of meth in Barron is made in Barron. So it's coming from somewhere. And then if we can stop that, then that means we help so many other people. Now, the other person probably isn't going to get off scot-free. There's still going to be some probation, reduce it to something. Right. So that I'm perfectly fine with, because, again, that's just kind of how it works. You want to go after the issue isn't Ben Dryden getting caught with meth. The issue is meth in our county. So that's what we need to kind of go after, and try to get to some kind of control over this. And you can't do it, I don't think, by just arresting every single person that had it. But the second part about the getting treatment, yeah, I'm a little torn on that one. But ultimately, yeah, if we can give them some help, let's absolutely do that. I don't know if we have all the answers in terms of how we give them help. Housing is always an issue. But man, if as soon as we stop trying to help people in those situations, then we've just lost our compassion for human beings. And I understand that law enforcement has to be law enforcement. DAs have to prosecute a prosecutable and winnable case, and judges have to do their jobs. I understand all of that, but man, we still have to remember we're just neighbors. We're brothers and we're sisters, and we gotta always try to help someone. And I think law enforcement can play a big role in that. But I don't know how everybody else thinks. Actually, Mike, how do you really feel, Ben? I just told you, Mike. So.
Well, to the point, I agree, and you can say, but what if my kid was the one you were selling meth to, and then you got off scot free, or with a slap on the wrist? That's the problem that people have is you sold meth to my kid, you should go to prison for the rest of your life. I mean, and obviously you're not going to go to prison for the rest of your life, but that's the push and pull.
And that's why parents don't get to decide the fate of these individuals. That's why we have judges and impartial people that are making those decisions. Because if anyone even touched my children in any way, or if someone influenced them to do, yeah, of course, I'm not going to make a very good decision because I'm way too emotionally involved in this situation. So I understand that part from a parent, but also put it into perspective. You're the parent. That's why you don't decide the fate.
Right.
I mean, I get it, but... Right.
Tracy's got a good point. I mean, we talked a lot about that, the frustrating part about the court system and the bonds and the signature bonds and the low cash bonds for selling meth, and agree. And that's a bigger problem, and we need to keep working on that issue with both our district attorney and our judges. So I get it. It's frustrating from a law enforcement standpoint too.
Sure.
And some of it's I don't want to say it's a game, but it is a game. It's a game we play to try to do what's right for the community, get the bigger fish, and at the same time make sure there's some kind of punishment. But there is some frustrating when, a person for a third offense meth and a second offense meth, the third offense they got convicted of, they got less time than their second offense. That was very frustrating for law enforcement. I mean, that's not right. And you can say, I've been clean for a year. Well, you've been clean for a year because you're on the electronic monitor. I mean, that's not being clean. Just because I was in prison for 2 years doesn't mean I've been clean for 2 years. Well, you should have been clean. You're in prison for 2 years. It's when you're out of prison and you have that success for 2 years, then I'll count that. I'm not going to count the 2 years in prison as being clean, because the opportunities to get the meth and to fall back in are there. And that's what we need to do. That's what our jail program does in Barron County. We just got to have some support systems when you get out the doors of the Barron County Jail. And that's what we were missing until recently, until the last few years when we had our restart program, et cetera. So a lot of discussion went in it. We had some great discussion in our Meth Town Hall. And again, we're willing to do those to a group that wants to have us come and do them and talk about the meth problem, because it's a catalytic converter theft. They're all tied to it. Every burglary you have is tied, tied to meth. So it's a very big deal, and meth affects everyone, even though you don't think it does.
By the way, catalytic converter thefts, I actually had an experience with that. I didn't know that was a thing, and I was running a car dealership. This is before I started. Yeah, I was running a car dealership, or I was managing. I was a branch manager or whatever, Claire, before I moved up here to start DrydenWire. And we had a location in Milwaukee, so they had some staffing issues. So I went down there. I kept getting sent down there like 2 weeks at a time over a period of 6 months. Stay in a hotel, etc. And it was weird because obviously Eau Claire and Milwaukee are wildly different. But the number one thing I got there is like, okay, you got to make sure you do this at night and with this car and this. I'm like, why? And like catalytic converters. And one morning I came in and like 12 of our cars had a catalytic converter stolen out of them. I'm like, why? And I guess they're valuable.
Yes, they are.
And we were, didn't know anything about that until then.
Right. So we've had a lot of catalytic converters in Northwest Wisconsin taken. They're very valuable. And so what we're asking people to do is, you've got to light your driveway. I mean, they're just going into the Walmart parking lot while you're in Walmart and cutting your catalytic converter off and going away, because people aren't paying attention during the day. And it's I guess if you want a tip for the day, it's pay attention during the day, because these people there's a car broke down on the side of the road and someone's working on a car, and you're Now, if it's a cop, we usually stop and say, hey, do you need help? But if it's Ben Dryden driving down 53 and there's some guy working on a car in 53, you're not going to stop. You're
No,
just going
probably
to
not.
keep going. Well, he might not be the guy that owns the car. He might be just cutting the catalytic converter thing off, and then they sell them in the Eau Claire area. There's 6 people in Eau Claire that take them, and it's the platinum and the rhodium in it. Rhodium is there's like an ounce in every catalytic converter, and it's selling for like $13,000. I'm sorry, there's a gram in every catalytic converter, and it sells for like $13,000 an ounce right now on the stock market. So it's all this rhodium and platinum that's in these catalytic converters. So you take a catalytic converter off your car, and it's worth $200 to $400 in Eau Claire, cash deal today, and it didn't cost you anything. I mean, you didn't
What?
even have. Yeah, it's very expensive, and then they're making money on the other side of this, and it's a very lucrative thing, and all of it's going towards our meth problem. And so we need people to report things to us. If you see it, hear it, report it, kind of thing. Even if it's during the day and you think it's something suspicious. The people we've caught said, yeah, we do it during the day because people at night call us in. No one calls us in during the day, which kind of makes sense. If you saw
Yeah.
somebody working on a car in the Walmart parking lot at 10 o'clock this morning, you're going to say, that guy must have broke down. Too bad.
Yeah.
So we have our people checking on it, checking on cars that broke down, checking on parking lots, checking on just about anything and it might be your car. And doesn't mean we're going to take you down at gunpoint and cuff you and then say, it's your car.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. On TV, that happens. It doesn't happen in real life.
Oh.
So,
I like TV version of Cops. That's always fun. Seeing them. So I can't watch, when I was a kid, I couldn't watch any shows with my dad, like Law and Order,
Right.
because we'd be watching it and the whole time. Nope, you can't do that. Nope. No, you just opens up the lawsuit for doing that one. No, I don't think so, folks. You can't do that either. And no, a cop would never say. So I can't watch any cop shows with my dad. I don't know. Do you comment on those things when your family are around?
No, my kids don't watch that with me. But I do watch them, and I'm like, that's not how it is. But it'd be kind of fun to be like, man, if life was that easy to just solve a crime.
That'd be great. And it has commercial breaks, so that'd be fantastic for everybody. I have 2 more things real quick, and then we need to roll for our winner. I just wrote down, I wanted just to ask you, so Racine County Sheriff, there was an investigation, something about voting, nursing home, how do they get the ballot if they're not meant, blah, blah, blah. But I saw this weekend, Robin Voss was on up front, and in that conversation, he was asked, is this happening across the state, of other sheriffs looking into this? I just thought I would just ask, are you aware of that situation? And has anyone contacted the Barron County Sheriff's Office to ask you, have you heard anything?
Sure. I've been contacted and asked the question if we're doing any investigations into voting fraud. We are not doing any the Racine County Sheriff had a complaint. He had a complaint from a citizen, said, I think I don't know if it was a parent or grandparent voted and they're not of sound mind, whatever it was.
Yeah.
However, he got the lead. His then team worked that and found out there may be some fraud there, and he's working on some possible charges and things like that. We don't have any complaints, so if there is a complaint, we will do that. We've handled voting complaints before. I don't know if they charged or cited a person that voted twice, once in a different county and once here. I don't remember what election it was. It was years ago. But we have looked into voter frauds and those type of things. So, and we will look into that. We won't turn the other way because, whatever, there's a D or an R beside everybody's name. If it's a crime, we'll look into it.
Right.
And if there's a complaint, we'll look into it. Those are very complicated cases when you deal with people's mental capacity. I watched a little bit of the Racine County Sheriff. His guy looked like he did a very thorough and complete investigation. So it was very well done. It appears to be, and that sucks. If that's the truth and that happened, that's wrong, and we need to fix the problem.
Yeah, wasn't it a sergeant? I think I caught the last 15 minutes of it.
Yeah.
I think it was a sergeant or something, and I thought he was a sheriff when I turned it on, to be honest. I really did. So it was on, and he was just talking, and I'm like, well, he's very thorough and could answer any question. He clearly had a knowledge of everything that he was talking about, but I think he was just the sergeant. But, yeah, I thought it was really well done. I don't know how that's going to end up. But the other thing is, I think today is the voting in Minneapolis. I copied this from news. It was KARE 11. I put the link on Wisconsin headlines, or U.S. and World Headlines on our website this morning, and this is the very beginning. It said, this election, the future of Minneapolis Police Department could be changed forever. If Minneapolis voters approve ballot question 2, MPD would be removed from the city's charter and merged with a new Department of Public Safety. If this happens, the Minneapolis City Council has until December 3rd to start the restructuring. So the first thing to know is that no matter what they vote today, it will be a process. It's not like tomorrow, no cops. But I don't know if you have been following this at all. And if not, are you going to? Do you think it's going to have a ripple effect?
I'm going to follow it. I think it's interesting. I hope that people don't vote for it. I mean, I'm not saying that law enforcement is perfect and there doesn't need to be some changes, but restructuring the current way we have it with the crime increase that they've seen and the number of officers they have leaving law enforcement, it's not the right fit. It's not the right time. There needs to be a lot more thought in this. It can't be just one or the other. There can be a combination, give the cops more money, put a social worker in the police department, whatever. I don't know. I think there's a lot more options than putting it out there to a vote. But I don't know what it's like over there. So maybe but I don't think it's that bad. Obviously, I think there's some things that we could all do better in law enforcement. So,
what could you do better? I'm not saying that to be funny, or if you want to take funny, that's fine too. But seriously, what do you think if you had to there's always things, you're right, to improve on. At the end of the week, I actually have my own survey that I fill out about myself, actually. I'm kind of a perfectionist. And so what I look back and what did I do and what could I have done better, and going forward, I would have done it this way. Is there times that you look at that and go, this is, there's a couple of areas here I really want to make sure I'm getting better at? What are those?
Well, boy, that's tough. But I think just being more interactive. I mean, I know it's tough to say, but I believe in the interaction with the public, and I think we could have more interaction. I think there's people that have good ideas out there. They just don't know how to get them to me, and that frustrates me. And some just because you have an idea, Ben Dryden, that says, I think police cars should be blue instead of black, and we don't change it, doesn't mean I'm not listening. That's not what, and I'm using that as an analogy.
No, I get it.
You're right.
Sorry, go ahead. Actually, that one wasn't bad. I don't think we'll get in trouble for that one.
I don't think we'll get in trouble for that one either. But it's just, we're listening, and I think there's always better ways, and there's things that we don't do that we're perfect at. And I welcome people when they come in and they're mad at me. They're angry, they're sad, they want to help, whatever it is. I mean, there's emotion involved in a lot of things that law enforcement does. And we have to take some of that emotion out and just listen to the words that are coming out of the person's mouth. And some people have good points, and some people have points that
are wrong.
Yeah, are wrong. I guess.
What I don't like is if you have an opinion, that's okay. And if mine opinion differs, that's okay. I just don't like when people state an opinion as a fact.
Right.
But just call it for what it is. It's just an opinion. It's your view. That's okay.
Right.
Just don't state it as a fact. That drives me nuts. Right. By the way, I forgot. Dave Wilson. We almost did a whole show without bringing up his name. So
I did talk to Dave Wilson on Halloween through our little chat thing.
Really? Did he have a lot of trouble? Because last week you said, boy, I don't know, Dave. I wouldn't have stayed up until 10 o'clock with the trick-or-treat, and I would have done it a lot earlier. What if he had a whole bunch of crime from like 8 to 10? And like, told you.
Yeah. That's right. Told you, Wilson. You should have shut down your Halloween at 8,
Yeah.
But we just got to stop the hate in the world. I mean, just on the last point before we give something away is that we've just got to be better. This opinion into fact that turns into hate has just got to come to an end. It's easy to get sucked down that road. We just can't, every one of us can do better, and we just want to make sure we're doing the right thing at the right time for the right reasons, and it's perfect. So
I'm not kidding. I've never hated anyone in my life. I have zero hate in my heart for anyone, and I've never been offended by anything. I don't know why. Like I kind of want to experience what is that feeling like of being offended.
I don't know.
Never have been.
I think you get angry because when you do your job and you think you're doing it for the right reasons and someone questions you, you get angry.
I get frustrated, and that's very disappointing. Yeah, and I do get a little fired up, but I don't have hatred towards the person. I really don't. I mean, you're an idiot, but I don't hate you.
You're like, why would that guy say that? But
I know. All right.
I'm looking at Larry Olson had a comment about a buggy around 5 a.m.
How far up was it?
Buggy on 30th Avenue. it's one of the last ones here. No, I appreciate those kind of things because they're supposed to have lights. We've
Oh,
gone
sure.
with the Amish community, and so I will follow up on that and talk to them again because they should have lights and signs. And it's dark right now. Daylight savings time is changes on Saturday. You like that?
Sunday morning. Yeah, because I get up at 4:20. No, not so I can hit the bong. It's because I need from 4:30 to 5. I do a little Bible study thing, and it takes me 10 minutes to get ready, get coffee going, etc. But 4:30, I'm up. 5 o'clock, I start work. Work for a couple hours, and it's 7, and then the kids get ready. It's still dark. It drives me nuts. Driving here into the studio this morning, still dark. No, I would rather take an hour extra in the morning of sunlight than at night. I don't care about night, but in the mornings, ugh, I hate going anywhere in the mornings. You're up for 3 hours before the sun comes up.
It'll start to get longer.
After December 20th.
So,
right. Okay, let's roll our giveaway, our $25 gift card for Amazon. So I don't know how many people have commented. Do we have a number?
we don't. I don't know. I don't want to count them all.
I'll count them all. I'll just count them on here.
Well, so I'll just randomize 1 to 100 and see what happens. I don't know if there's 100 comments, but
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. We got a better system so people aren't just watching us count. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 6, 7, 8.
You can hang up. We'll
32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Well, isn't there somewhere it says how many people have commented?
No.
Yeah, it has to.
Maybe.
You know what? That's what it is. It's on our because we don't actually have Facebook up right now. We use a different program. 76 comments. There we go. I just had to go to our actual.
Okay.
Oh, that's weird. Watching. Yeah, there's a delay.
Well, no kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. Like watching me. What? Anyway. So out of the 76.
76.
Yeah.
1 through 76. I'm generating a number. 71.
71. Oh, that's much easier. And then the last one that I think had just come in. Shoot. So, are you still there? I think you just. Oh, there you are. So, so I don't know. Take 5 off of the end, right?
Right.
So what is that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take 5 off the end. That one would be Jody Smith Gray.
Jody Smith Gray.
Yep.
Is that right? So you must be seeing something different than I am.
I'm looking at our chat on. Now my other phone's ringing. Hang on.
Are you going to answer it?
No, I'm not going to answer.
Come on. One of these days I just want to forget that we're doing a live show. Like we're just talking. Like, hold on, man. I got to answer this real quick. One of these days. All right, good. So that's our winner. Who was it? Jody Smith Gray?
Smith Gray. Yep.
Okay. Wasn't she a winner before? We're not giving her another one.
Might have been. She comments a lot. That's what you said. You got to win.
Well, that's just it. You can comment as much as you want, but we have to. Yeah, we'll come up with a little better system here, so we don't have to sit and count at the very end. But
a lot of great comments. I love them all, and
yeah,
we appreciate them, and it's awesome. And we had a lot of live viewers today, as you've seen our number count, and it just means a lot to us that you guys watch our show, and we have a lot of fun doing it, and we hope you guys learned something too.
Nice. Oh, it was her sister. Yeah.
There
so Jody, send a message to on our Facebook page. Just send it to our DrydenWire messenger, and just with your email, and then later on this morning, we'll send an Amazon gift card digitally to your email address. All right, cool. Fitzy, any last words? Anything coming up this weekend that people should know about other than daylight saving time? Yay.
Daylight savings time, we're actually in the middle of a homicide trial. So we have a homicide trial. There'll be a ruling on that homicide trial from last year from the one down by Chautauqua. So we have a homicide trial going on right now upstairs. Our team's working on that with our district attorney's office. So I'm sure there'll be a ruling on that. Warrior football this weekend. Go Warriors. That's all I got to say.
Go Rails. See, I said that wrong. I don't know if we're still in anything. That's all right. I don't know. Awesome. Well, thank you so very much. Again, thank you for everyone for commenting and being part of this. We'll be back here next week, of course, right? We're on next Tuesday. Yeah, so next Tuesday, then we'll take a week off.
Yep.
Oh, sure. We should figure out, you know what we should do? The Tuesday of Thanksgiving, I think we did it last year, give away a couple turkeys.
Give away a couple turkeys.
Did we do that last year?
I think so, the 23rd. we'll have to go make sure there's turkeys in the store.
Oh, right. Is that a thing
I
right
don't
now?
know.
Like, are there?
I'm sure there is. I think we'll be okay.
Okay. You've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by ICAA. ICAA is your local social service organization that works together with individuals, families, and the community to create and support local solutions for local needs. For a full list of services, find them on their Facebook page or just check them out on their website at indianheadcaa.org. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden saying thank you for watching, and we'll see you back next week when we promise we'll do better. Until then, stay safe, stay positive, and as always, have a blessed day.